Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Princess Concon, also known as Connor, and today we're going to be reviewing The Substance while out in Telford. The Substance was released in 2024, and in my opinion, it was the best film of last year. It was fantastic. It was really up my alley. It's kooky, it's weird, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, but it's also fantastic just for the messaging and what it's trying to say about Hollywood, substance abuse, ageism, getting older, and for that it's really, really superb. The Substance is based around a character named Elizabeth Sparkle, I believe, and she is like a fitness instructor, and she's a woman of a certain age, and Hollywood decides to say, you're too old, get out. She then feels like all her hard work has led to nothing. She's not who she was, she's not young, she's not beautiful. That's how she feels, right? She's beautiful in the movie, she's absolutely stunning. And so one day she gets into a car accident. She then meets this doctor who kind of looks at her spine, and I don't know if he's a real doctor or what, but he gives her information about the substance. She phones the number up later on and she orders some. And the substance basically turns you into a better version of yourself, or where the person comes out of your back basically. And it's really disgusting. So we get the scene where she takes it and her irises are doing this weird thing. Her spine begins to split open and another person basically comes out, but it's not another person, it's her, but the better version of herself. It's also important to note that there's rules to using the substance, and you do 1 week as your original self, and you do 1 week as your better self, the other. So of course everything's going really well. They're swapping every week, and the younger, more attractive version, I guess, takes the role of what Elizabeth had, and this new version is called Sue. Again, she's also fantastic. Both of them are absolutely stunning. Not that that matters, but I think it's just important to note that being young and old doesn't necessarily mean you're more beautiful. So things are going well, the substance working, but of course, like any substance, it gets overused. So with Sue and Elizabeth abusing the substance, well, it's more Sue, but obviously they're the same character or same person. Sue starts pushing it a little bit, taking a few extra hours or a few extra days to kind of enjoy her life while she's young and beautiful, and all these opportunities are coming to her. So as the movie goes on, both characters start to experience like hallucinations or weird scenarios where their bones are cracking, or there's one scene where she pulls a chicken wing out of her belly button because why not, I guess. So as Sue starts to take up more time, this affects Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's finger starts to change at first. It's like really old, and I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a corpse finger, I guess, which is, I didn't think that would be something I'd say today, corpse finger. But anyway, Sue keeps taking more and more time, leaving Elizabeth to become this shell of herself, I guess. It's kind of disgusting what the prosthetics they make her look, and it's really, really well. And so there's this kind of, Sue starts calling the substance agency company, whatever you want to call it, and says, you know, my other self is taking too much time, like, what do I do? And they keep reminding her, like, she is you and you is she. It's as simple as, but of course, substance abuse and that attention that they both want, or she wants, it's really hazy how you think about it. Like, are they two separate people, or are they actually one? Because for me, they become two separate people. They're not the same. But anyway, the substance is being abused, as most substances do. The film comes to the climax, and Sue has taken up like 3 months, I think, 3 or 5 months. So when we get back to, what's her name? Elizabeth. When we get back to Elizabeth, she's just gone. She's this horrible creature, I guess. It's important to note Sue gets this new opportunity that she needs to take on, I think it's New Year's, where she's doing this live show or presenting a show even. And she goes home, they swap back, and Elizabeth tries to terminate Sue, and then she tries to bring her back, and then both of them coexist at the same time. It's quite shocking, really. The film just gets weirder and weirder from that point, and it's very interesting. They start to fight, they chase each other, and then Sue kills Elizabeth, who is the original. And yeah, it's kind of grim. There's like her dragging each other's body, throwing them like super kicks. Like, it was wild. It was absolutely wild, but I loved it. So then Sue goes to go to her show, I guess. But then when she gets there, her teeth start falling out. So she's panicking. It's really grim. Teeth falling out, nails coming off. It's your typical horror movie, a body horror movie thing, I guess. So once her teeth are falling out and all that, she goes home and realizes she can get a better version of herself. So you don't think it's going to happen. You never think any of this will happen in the movie. It just gets wilder and wilder and wilder. And they really push what they can do. They take it to the next level the whole time, which I'm here for. It's fantastic that it does that. So when she gets home, she does the injection. And then, have you know it, the better version comes out. And it's not really a better version, but I haven't got words to describe what I saw. It's shocking. It will stay in my head forever. It's by far the creepiest, horrific thing I've seen in a movie. But again, I'm here for it. So we get this monster, and it's a combination of both of them, I guess, Sue and Elizabeth. Except Sue's kind of on the back, and her face is all like, she looks like she's doing a big scary yawn. It's crazy. And she's massive, she's really big, she's a monster. But she decides to go to her show. She gets there, she puts a little earring in, she straightens her hair. And when I say hair, it's like one hair, not her hair, not hairs, hair. It's quite sad, really, and quite traumatic for the character. They go to the show, and she puts a magazine cutout on her face of the original Sue. She feels beautiful, and of course everyone sees the mask falls off, and it's game over. It's literally game over. She gets the crap beaten out of her. She throws up, and no, it's not a throw. There's a mouth on like her side, and a boob just drops out, because of course it does. So once the boob drops out of her chin mouth thing, whatever you want to call it, she gets the crap beaten out of her, and she starts throwing up sick, and it goes and everywhere. The film just gets really cuckoo then, in the best possible way. Like it's amazing. I absolutely love it. And when she leaves, the body kind of just breaks apart, and she's left with just Elizabeth's face that was on the back, and it's walking or crawling, or I don't know how you want to call it. It's basically moving across the floor, and then it finds the Hollywood star that was Elizabeth that we see in the opening, bringing it full circle, and she's just spread out there. Her face looks like she's in pain. She looks at the stars, and she dies. She kind of melts into nothing, and that's the end of the film. Fantastic. So let's get on to characters. We'll start off with Elizabeth Sparkle. It's quite tragic what happens to her, really, and I think obviously it's a depiction of what happens in Hollywood, but to kind of see it to her, you know, she reaches a certain age, and then she just gets thrown out. It's disgusting. And she was perfect in her job. Like, she was really good. She's moving. She's not like ill. It's just sexist men, of course, who just want to kick her out and get a new model in. That's literally how they would phrase it. Yeah, it's disgusting. I feel for the character, but then her obviously getting this opportunity to get the substance. I think a lot of people would take it. I think it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'd take that. Personally, not to be like bigger or trying to think that I act bigger. I wouldn't. I like to think that I wouldn't, but maybe I would. I don't know. It's complicated. The inner in me would be like, no, don't get it, but I probably would. She's a great character, and you feel for her the entire time, even when you know she's doing wrong. But yeah, great character. Let's get on to Sue. Sue is the child of Elizabeth. I don't know. It's so. Obviously, it's her better self, and maybe they are one, maybe they're not one. I don't know. It could be her child. Who knows? She's fantastic in the role. The actress is incredible as well. But the character is just I look at her and I just see Elizabeth. Like, I see them as the same person all the way up until the end, where they kind of become their own beings. Great character. She sells the horror moments as well, as both of them do. But yeah, I really enjoyed her. Let's go on to that old, creepy, straight white male guy. He's horrible. There's like a close-up shot where he's eating the chicken. Oh, not chicken. I think it's like shrimp. Is it shrimp? Something like that. And it's like a close, and it's disgusting. He plays the role really, really well. He's just this horrible man in power, basically. I hate the character, but I guess that's the intention. You're supposed to hate him. But he's absolutely vital. So, next. So let's move on to the directing. The visuals of the film, I guess the cinematography in terms of the visuals, it was very The Shining in terms of its cinematography. It's beautiful throughout. There's a lot of, I think it pays homage to The Shining quite a lot in terms of the certain carpets, the takes, the shots that they have, the horror element, obviously. And for that, I really appreciate it. I think there's a lot of callbacks to other horror movies. I can't remember what they were, but again, it's just wonderfully crafted in that sense. The sound effects of the chicken drumstick coming out, like the fleshy, rubbery kind of sounds, I guess. It's truly horrific, but done so well. We also have the editing. I think it's edited and put together really well. There's never a moment where it's choppy or like my editing, I guess. But, you can tell it's done professionally. A lot of work has clearly gone into this film from just getting it as well as it is. It's not rushed. There's no part where I'm bored. The pacing's great. So overall, I think the directing is some of the best I've ever seen. So I'll have a look if there's any more work that this director has done, because I'd love to see it, because this is cinema. This is why I love movies, and I feel like a lot of people, whether you just like the film or think it's wacky, you can't deny that it's put together fantastically. When it comes to the themes of the substance, I think they nailed all of them pretty well. I think the first would be the ageism that, not just in Hollywood, but I think a lot of women, I can only assume, not assume, I know it's fact, but I can't speak for women. But I think it's handled really, really well. The characters really show that in all the scenes. The characters are written fantastic for that. Like, if you're young, you get the job. If you're not, you get kicked out. It's straightforward, really. But it's just handled in such a magnificent way that represents a lot of probably women out there, not just actors in Hollywood, but women in general. I think the other theme that the film tackles is substance abuse, obviously with the name, The Substance, but I think it gets kind of overlooked with, and everyone talks about the ageism and the acting and all that, and it's brilliant, but I think for someone who's gone through substance abuse myself, I think it's quite important to talk about, and the film does a magnificent job, especially when Elizabeth is, contemplating whether to stop, but she just can't. It's too good. Her life is going amazing when she's Sue. So I can really relate to that on a personal level, so I might be sharing a bit too much there. But again, the film handles it excellently. And I think finally the last thing I took from the themes was how women see themselves because of what men put them through. It's handled excellently, especially with, again, Elizabeth Sparkle is handled superbly. The character really shows that just because she's an older lady, she's treated a certain way. So again, it's shown in just a magnificent way. Overall, the Substance is probably one of my favourite films of all times. Of all time? Times? Of all time. It's a great horror movie. It's directed fantastically. The script is amazing. The acting is out of this world. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It has everything. I know a lot of people don't like it and they think it gets too weird and wacky, but I feel like why not? Like that's the film they wanted to tell, and for me it works on all levels. So go and see it if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, let me know what you think. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.